my shop, Rob from Woodsley Summercraft here. Today is the second part of a three-part series, I hope, of spalting some wood. So the wood has been soaking outside in a container for the last 24 hours. So that should bring the moisture content of all of that wood significantly up. That will then allow the living spores of the fungus to enter the wood and do its magic, make its thing happen. So what I'm going to do is I've got this other container, second container, and I'm going to clean that with some rubbing alcohol. Any kind of an alcohol spirit would work, just so that there's no contaminants in there. This may not really be necessary, but I was advised to do it, so I will. So I'll just get this done quick. Okay, so that should have killed anything that may have been in there. I'm pretty sure there was nothing growing in there. It was a brand new container. So now what I'm going to do, I'll set the lid aside. So there's my container. Now this vermiculite I bought at a hardware store, like a garden centre. It's a soil additive, basically, is what it is. It's very similar to like a cat litter, actually. So anyway, I'm going to open this up. 5 litres. So I think probably 10 litres I'll put in there. Actually, I'm satisfied with 5 litres. I think that's enough. So there's a nice bed of vermiculite. What I need to do is pour some distilled water into this, and then we'll go ahead and put the spores. I'll show you the spores. We're going to go ahead and put that on the end grain of the wood once we've got it out of the water container. And this is the heat pad that we'll be using. It was about $25, I think. Wasn't too expensive. There are some much more expensive ones out there, but I didn't want to break the bank for this. Let's take a look at this. So essentially, this will sit underneath of this container like that. And then this, I can set the temperature to what I want and plug it in, and we'll just leave it. 6 weeks is what I'm told is the time frame. So and we can just check it the second day, and then after that just leave it. And I guess it's going to be a little bit like a rainforest in there, because the humidity is going to be constantly moving, and all of the fungus is obviously going to be growing into the wood and doing its magic. Okay, so these are the 3 petri dishes that I purchased, and I'll put a link in the description below where I got them from. So this one, as you can see, there's stuff growing in there, and you can see the name there, if I pronounce it right, T. versicolor. I don't really know too much about them, so I can't really tell you anything other than the name that's written on them, and the fact that there's definitely something growing in there. And this one here is F. hepatia, maybe, and as you can see, there's stuff growing in there also. And then this last one looks like Maria. It's got a name there called Maria, and it's pretty nasty. There's something definitely growing in there. What I'm going to do, I've been told or advised, is to take these outside, and I'm going to scrape everything in there together, mix it all up together as best as I can, and then get it wiped onto the end grain of the wood, and then that will start. They'll fight each other to make their own zone lines and create their own areas within the wood. That is the plan anyways. Okay, so this wood has been soaking now for 24 hours, so I can take the wood, take a look at the wood, and I'm pretty sure the moisture content is now way up from where it was before. in all of the wood. The water's discolored, some of the tannins from the wood has come out into the water. So the next plan is to put some distilled water. I'm actually using water from the kettle because I boiled this, which basically boils all the chemicals out of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in with the vermiculite. And I may have to come back and do some more. That's not enough. I'll be right back. Okay, so these are my petri dishes again. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to scoop everything out of each one and put it in this container and mix it all up. Now I'm very unfamiliar with these fungus or with these fungi, so I'm going to be wearing a very good respirator just because I don't know if it would affect me or not. So this is actually a very high quality respirator, if you can read that or not, but it's good for ammonia, so I'm convinced that it would be good enough for any kind of fungi that might be going up my nose. I don't want any of that going up my nose, so I'm going to wear the best respirator that I have while I open these up. So I'll try and mix this up. Now it was mentioned to me to put it in a blender, so I might do that. I have a used blender, an old blender that I can use, so I might actually do that. Let's try that. Okay, so I have this blender which we don't use anymore, so I'm gonna now put the fungi with the petri gel into here. So I'm adding some more water to my vermiculite. And I think that's enough. If I need more, I can put some in tomorrow. Okay, so now the task is to take one piece of wood at a time, apply the fungus to the end grain and install them into this. Okay, so now the task is to remove the fungus from this jar and apply it to the end grain of each piece of wood. And I think you don't need a whole lot because it will actually grow as it did in the petri dishes while it was in the fridge for the past few weeks. But I had it triple wrapped, so it didn't really go anywhere. Okay, so there it is, all mixed up. What I'm going to do is wear my respirator again, and I'm going to wear a rubber glove, and I'm going to just use my finger to apply it to the wood. Okay, so first up is the oak. Also, my wood is now in the container with the vermiculite at the bottom, so they're not actually sitting in water, so they won't go moldy as such, but the fungus should grow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this in a position. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to place it on top of the heat pad that I have right here, and I will get this up to temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll come back in about 2 months time, 6 weeks, and see what's happened. Okay, so here's my rubber mat with my heat pad sitting on top of it. It's plugged in. I've set it to medium. I'm now going to put my container on top of that, and that's it. Now I just wait. I may have to seal the lid better than it is to keep the moisture in there, so I think I'll end up coming back tomorrow, checking that there's enough water in there, and then maybe add water and seal the lid. And I'm going to leave that sitting there for 6 weeks before I open it again. And thanks for watching again. I hope that this was somewhat informative, and I hope that the end results are what we're looking for. It's going to be now at least 2 months before I will release the third part of this 3-part series of spalting wood. We'll see what results we get, so stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Take care.